So, the first thing I just want to tell you is that the speaker is on the way. I'll be here soon. Maybe in Israel they run at a different time. I was trying to explain to him that in Vermont, people actually come on time to events. Or they come early. You know, the difference between New York and Vermont is when my wife and myself, we got married. I grew up in Vermont, but we lived in New York City. And then we moved up here in 2012. And what I noticed, one of the big differences between the Jewish community in New York City and the Jewish community here is that in New York City, whenever we used to go to an event, whether it was a wedding or bar mitzvah or some sort of family event, any time it was called, if it was called for a certain time, everyone showed up an hour late. Always an hour late. When we moved to Vermont, we quickly realized that people show up a half an hour early. If you're lucky. So it's a different mentality.
If there's food, too.
So, so he should be here in like 20 minutes, so I just wanted to share something interesting that happened today. I'm sure there's some lesson in life. Basically, our speaker that will be here soon, Din Tesler, he spoke last night in Springfield, Massachusetts. So the plan was that he's going to speak in Springfield, Massachusetts, sleep overnight, and in the morning, this morning he would drive up to Brattleboro, simple, easy drive, and he was excited to come to Vermont. He's never been to Vermont before. So this morning I called him about 10 o'clock or so just to confirm, just to say like, oh, is everything okay? Like, you'll be here soon? So he says, actually, we're in Cape Cod. So I said, Cape Cod? Do you know Cape Cod's the other direction? That's like the opposite. Like, if you know anything about geography, you don't go from Springfield, Massachusetts to Cape Cod. That's the wrong way. So he's like, oh, we have a friend that has a mother that we could stay in their house, and we stayed there. So I was like, okay, are you able to come over soon? It was still in the morning, so, you know, Cape Cod, it's like 3.5 hours or so from here if there's no traffic. So he says, oh, we want to stop in Boston to tour Boston. So I said, really? Do you know Boston has a lot of traffic? There could be a lot of traffic. I had last summer, I took my niece to the airport in Boston, and it was my mistake. I estimated 2 hours. It's obviously to stay in the middle, okay. So I estimated 2 hours to get to the airport, to Logan Airport, and obviously it was the summer, I think it was early August. It was my mistake. It took more than 3 hours to get there. She obviously missed her flight. Lesson learned, Boston has a lot of traffic. But, so anyhow, he says he's in Boston. So I said, okay, if you're in Boston, I understand, but there's a lot of traffic, and you should try to get here by 5 p.m. latest, because people are going to be here. So, fine. So then after like 3 o'clock or so, he texts me that they're on their way. But then they decided they have to stop somewhere in Massachusetts. I'm like, why do you have to stop? So he said, oh, because we have to charge the car. So I'm like, and he says it's 20 minutes. I'm like, oh no, okay. Here we go. And then about a half an hour ago, he texts me and he's like, oh, we just got pulled over by the police.
Oh no.
So he got some ticket, hopefully not too big. But now he claims he'll be here in 20 minutes or so. So he's on the way. I just wanted to share with you some of the background of today's.
Sounds like in Israeli.
Yeah. So first of all, the weather outside is like Israel. It's hot. And second of all, maybe Israelis are not always on time. You know, they're just more, whenever they come. So it was just an interesting experience. I texted him. I told him. I said, in Vermont, people are on time, and they don't. It's a different schedule. I was trying to explain that to him in a nice way. So he'll be here soon. So thank you all for joining. And we're going to start, until our speaker comes, hopefully it'll be a couple minutes, we're going to start with just handing out the mic if anyone wants to come up and share an experience that they had in Israel, or something that they feel that they want to share. You're welcome. We could go around the room. Obviously only a couple minutes. Best if maybe each person 2-3 minutes or 4 minutes. Especially, we won't have much time. Hopefully, the police won't pull them over again, and they'll be here soon. So, hopefully, God willing, everything will work out. So, if anyone wants to share something, this is the moment. You're welcome.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay, we have one brave person.
that knows me knows I can be a little awkward, so just bear with me here. I hate this weather. The only good thing about it is I can close my eyes and pretend I'm back in Israel, the only place that's ever really felt like home to me. I was in Israel in 2018, and a very, very powerful moment stands out, more so now than ever. I went to the West Bank to I think they were called Shorashim. They are a nonviolence organization, and it was on a farm, and anybody that knows me knows I love animals and I love dogs. There was a identified Palestinian woman whose dogs were jumping all over me. And she apologized, and I was like, what are you apologizing for? Like, if this is how I go, this is how I go, being tackled by a dog. And I look at that moment, and it was so human, and I would do anything to be back there. We were just two human beings, and that's all we are in the end of the day.
What's your name?
Oh, Michaela.
Hi, shalom לכולכם. So, my name is Ronit. I'm from Israel. Of course, all my family in Israel. I moved to Massachusetts 30 years ago. Came for a few years for school with my husband. We were taking for 4 years, and here we are 30 years after. I just moved to Greenfield about a year ago, and it's really, since October 7, I just cannot think about anything else beyond, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But then I spend probably about 2 hours every day sending emails, contacting people, putting things on a Facebook. It's really important that we will do that. So I'm so excited to see so many people here. I thought maybe it would be just a few. At this time, I'm also working in a college that it's really hard to be in college today, working in colleges. And as an Israeli, and as someone who supports Israel, and I can criticize Israel, but still, I love Israel. I'll do everything to support what's happened. And what's happened on October 7 is we just cannot forget that. And that's one of the things that Israelis say. The world is moving on, but we, the Israeli, we're still in October 7. We just cannot move from there. So I just want to say that. Thank you.
Hello, shalom. I want to continue what Ronit said. I'm Tehila. I was born and raised in Israel, and I live now in Putney. I think what's really important for us, and I'm happy you all are here, is to keep doing some help of PR and helping Israel to put the truth out there, because there's so much lies, way more than what we can do. There's many organizations that do online marketing, and you can join and volunteer from a few minutes on your phone. And we'll share that on our Facebook group of Vermont Friends of Israel after this event. And if you have questions, please ask how to join and how to help, because we need that.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Winchelbaum. I'm from Greenfield. I see some of my friends from Greenfield. And some of us are having a little pro-Israel rally on the 24th on the Common in Greenfield. The theme is Israel has a right to exist, and we'll be just doing some singing and some speakers and some signs that ask for peace and coexistence. So if you could join us, that will be on the 24th, on Monday, from 4:30 to 6 at the Common in Greenfield.
Penny Novak. I live in Buckland, Massachusetts. That's not far from Route 2. A few days after October 7th, when I heard what had happened, I went online to various sites, political sites that I've been on in the past, and there were Nazi memes being put up in the comments. And I said, wow, I recognize that. I was alive during World War II. That's a Nazi meme. You just changed a few words. You're Nazis. These are people that I had worked with politically in the past for what I felt were good causes. And after that, I did not leave them alone. I was on 7 days a week, numerous hours, most of the time for months. And it took so long for strong Jewish voices to show up. We can't be afraid. We can't afford to be afraid. See, I'm really angry. And I'm going to keep going online. And I have done a lot of research. And I am not going to give up. Israel, Am Yisrael Chai.
I'm Amita, the rabbi at the Brattleboro area Jewish community. And I know one of the reasons that and I'm also an Israeli citizen, lived there for 18 years. Only recently returned because my father was dying, otherwise I would have stayed. You know, a lot of people give the reason that we need Israel for Jewish safety. You know, that it's like the place where Jews can be safe after not only the Holocaust and the pogroms, but all of the massacres and expulsions throughout history, that we need Israel for safety. And I just want to say that I'm not disagreeing with that, but the reason why Israel is important to me, the main reason, is because it's the only place you can be a Jew, and it's normal. And it's because of having lived in Israel for 6 years in my 20s that I decided to become a rabbi when I thought I might be able to live in the States. There were various reasons why I decided to come back. I thought, how do I transmit this experience of the normalcy of being a Jew that you get in Israel, where the people around you are Jews, or Palestinians, or tourists, but it's like, it's just so normal. Shabbat is Shabbat, Pesach is Pesach, the Chagim are the Chagim, Sukkot is Sukkot. Do the streets have are named after biblical figures or contemporary Israeli figures? It's just normal. And for most Jews in America, unless they're Chabad, unless they're Orthodox or ultra-Orthodox, it's not normal. You have to go against the mainstream just to be a Jew. And so for most people, it's an extracurricular. It's not really central to your lives. So I thought, if I'm a rabbi, maybe I can kind of get that across. It's not really easy to get that across here. And so, anyway, I ended up going back after 21 years here, and I was very happy there for 12 years. And I'm here because father died, mother's ill, and I landed in this position as being a rabbi, right at this time, right at this challenging time. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm very, very connected to Israel, and I do feel closer to Jews than I love people in general, and this is standing together, Omdim B'Yachad, or Noa'af Maba'ad, because I also feel like we have to get along with our neighbors, our cousins, the Palestinians, and I'm sure you all agree. I loved what you said, Michaela. So I'm excited to hear Din.
I'm Karen different. Yeah, I'm Jewish. There are a lot of Jews here, but there are a lot of people who aren't Jewish here, Christian and whatever. And thank you. The truth is on our side, and I don't know. Thank you so much. We appreciate our allies because it's really hard. It's really hard to be an ally to Israel now.
Okay, thank you everyone for speaking. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna get started after all what I told you earlier about the challenges of getting here. I see Din's brother is in the back, he's here, and a friend. And I'm hoping Din will be here any moment. So, they said they had a difficult day, maybe we'll hear more about it. But for now, I just wanted to share something quick. It's interesting, everything is divine providence. And we open up this week's Torah portion, and you don't have to go too far. Right in the beginning of the Torah portion, God tells Aaron, the high priest, that he should light the menorah, light the candelabra in the temple, in the mikdash, the mishkan. And it's interesting how it's in this week's Torah portion, which is totally out of place, because we already spoke about the lighting of the menorah. But over here in this week's Torah portion, it talks about lighting the menorah, and it's brought down in many of the holy books that the menorah is not just the physical candelabra, but the menorah also is referring to every single one of us. Every single person has their own menorah, has their own little candelabra, and we have to light that. And the reason why I say this, and it's so appropriate for what we're gathering today, is that it's no secret that there's a lot of darkness in the world, and many of us have experienced darkness. We all know friends and neighbors that live in darkness or have dark moments. And we have the opportunity to light the menorah, to be the light unto others. To light ourselves, to light our friends, our neighbors, to share the light. Try to share something positive. And try to be the light in the darkness. There's so much chaos and craziness going on in the world, which I don't have to tell you about. And we have the opportunity to be the voice of light. And so that's basically what I wanted to share, and thank you all for coming. And I will hand over the mic to Mark Trinkman, good friend of mine. He put a lot of effort into this, and he's the one that really made it happen, because he reached out to me a few months ago and asked about bringing down an October 7th survivor, and then I was able to find someone, and thank God it worked out, and thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Rabbi Raskin. Thank you for helping to bring us together as a community tonight, and thank you for your Torah insight and for explaining how it relates to our collective experience. Hi everyone. As Rabbi Raskin said, my name is Mark Trankman, and I'm currently serving as president of Vermont Friends of Israel. Together with Chabad of Brattleboro, we have worked to bring Din Tesler here to Vermont for the benefit of everyone in attendance, but perhaps even more importantly, also for anyone who might later hear of Din's story and be positively influenced to better understand the tragedy of October 7th and the impossible position it has put Jews and Israelis in ever since. I would be remiss if I did not mention the profound influence that Chabad has had on my life. Despite being raised in a secular Jewish home, I learned to appreciate the connection that every Jew has to Israel. It was an integral part of my upbringing, and now it is an integral part of my identity. But what was desperately missing was an appreciation of what binds every Jew to each other. While I don't ever expect to embrace the observant Jewish lifestyle of a Chabadnik, their love of Torah, fellow Jews, and all humankind has awakened in me an understanding that every Jew is my family. We are all connected. And when one of us is in pain or distress, every other one of us feels it. For me, this explains the trauma I felt when the news of October 7th broke. The pain we experienced continues to run deep. It is a wound that can never heal completely, especially while our hostages remain in captivity. The war we must fight in response prevents us from properly processing our grief. The lack of sympathy and understanding from so many people we expected it from only serves to compound our pain. In the immediate aftermath of the attack, I found myself unable to smile, much less laugh. Oftentimes I cried, filled with despair over my inability to contribute meaningfully to the effort to keep Israel and all of her children secure. This went on for weeks until one of my dearest non-Jewish friends told me, "Any single Jew can be killed, but the Jewish sense of humor will never die." From that moment, I began to realize that the greatest revenge we can take is to live and love life, to laugh and to celebrate, to dance again. With time, I had come to accept and embrace that my mission is here in southern Vermont. It is here that I and Vermont Friends of Israel can shine a light to positively influence a community that desperately needs it. This journey has not always been easy. In fact, it has rarely been anything other than hard. There was a moment a few months ago when, for the first time in my life, I had the fleeting thought that I wished I had not been born Jewish. The burden we carry to fight for our survival while maintaining our humanity is a uniquely Jewish one. No other people is judged with such intimate scrutiny, especially when faced with an existential threat. But it is in these moments the teachings of Hillel ring especially true. His most famous quote, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow," is a core Jewish value. As with any rule, there are exceptions. But I have personally never known a single Jew that did not want peace, that did not advocate for peace, or that was unwilling to trade land, money, food, or medicine for peace. And it is when experiencing this desperation for peace that we must also recall the second most famous thing Hillel said. "If I am not for myself, who is for me? And if I am only for myself, what am I?" To me, this means that Jews have a duty to stand together against those who seek our destruction. Our fight is a just one. It is a fight for a future just world. In the words of Ben Gurion, "I'm a Jew who wants to live in a world where there is peace among all nations, and where there is no exploitation, but mutual help among human beings." And it is when his vision is realized that Vermont Friends of Israel's mission will be complete. But until then, in the words of Rabbi Raskin, paraphrasing the late Rabbi Sachs, "The world does not respect Jews who do not respect themselves. We must be proud of who we are, come together, and share our stories." So without further ado, everyone please welcome Din Tesler.
Good evening, everyone.
Chabad.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone. My name is Din Tesler. I'll introduce myself. Din Tesler, 22 years old, from Cholon in Israel. I released from the army 2 years ago. I've been in special forces that was Seret Nachal. I released from the army, start to work, start to build my life, work in sales. And on October 7, I work as a security guard at the Nova Music Festival. I work with my best friend. His name is Bar Cooperstein. Unfortunately, he's still a hostage till today. We just came two best friends from Cholon, coming to the weekend just to work, make a little bit more money, and coming back home. Unfortunately, just me survived, and for me, I'm still waiting for him every day, every minute. And the story starts in 6:30 in the morning, Saturday, Simchat Torah, in Israel. My job as security guard was the commander of the gate around the party. So all of the emergency exit was kind of on me. Bar's job was in the highest level of the security guard. So we've been together, and the police called us on the radio and told us, "Listen, Dean, Bar, and all the security guard, you need to tell the people leave really fast, how much fast that you can." I don't know if you know that, but at the Nova, they've been almost 4,000 people that come into the party. It was really hard and difficult to tell them leave in one time. So around 7, after 30 or 40 minutes, we got a call on the radio that we need to open an emergency exit. For me, I'm all of the night just driving on the ATV around the party, checking off the emergency exit, checking everything, it's okay. So for me, I know exactly what they mean. And I open the emergency exit, tell the people, follow me. And coming to the road, 232 road, and the police told me tell the people going left. I'll explain a little bit about the map. I don't know if you know that, but the Nova was between two kibbutzim. In the left was Be'eri, and from the right was Za'ir. Both of the kibbutzim, they get attacked by terrorists. For me, I tell the people, going left. One second. This is Bar Kupperstein. I open the emergency exit, tell people going left to Be'eri. After a few minutes, I see from the right a woman that she get out from the car and she was bleeding from the head. For me, till that second, just was another regular day in Israel with rockets in the sky. Fortunately, we're used to it in Israel. I saw the lady and I started thinking, first of all, why is she bleeding? I tried to talk with her. She never responds too much. She just crying, catching my arm and told me, please save me. I called the radio, told them I have injured woman, I need help. The police told me, bring her to the paramedic, to the ambulance and come to us. It was maybe 1 minute to drive on the ATV, trying to figure out what happened. She didn't respond too much, just crying and crying. And the second I put her in the ambulance, she just looked at me and told me a terrorist attacked us. And the fact what happened, it's the first group that get out from the party and take the right to Aim. After probably a mile or two, terrorists waiting in the roads and start killing people and shooting on the people. And that woman was the first injured people that coming back and did U-turn to the party. The paramedic told me and Bar, many injuries start to come. We need to go and help them. Bar and I, we drive into the same position. What we see, 20, 30 injuries people, most of them they getting shot. Bar and I, we start to do many tourniquet. Everyone knows that tourniquet? But the fact they say tourniquet, but we did a tourniquet from branches in the ground that we found, from the shirts that we just take off from the person, and just have to do a tourniquet and a tourniquet 20, 30 times from a person to person. It takes us for almost 50 minutes. After 50 minutes, we got another call from the police that we need to open another emergency exit, but this time to Moshav that's called Patish. Probably most of you saw the video that you see people running in the open field, one of the famous one. Like you see the video, people running to Patish. Me and Bar were driving on the ATV, tell them keep running straight, keep running. And we see from the left 3 injuries women. They just landed on the ground. And again, we did it really quickly, a tourniquet, take them on the ATV and drive them back to the party. For me, if I look back and I can say, it was the biggest mistake. Because we should just go and drive to Patish, but at that time we didn't know about everything. We drive them back to the party, put them in the ambulance, going to the police officer in the road. What we see from Be'eri, from there, we see a terrorist jumping from their cars and just start to shooting on us. For me, I see the terrorist, I looking back, I see my best friend, Bob, screaming at me and told me, Din, go inside to the party. Why? Because the terrorist coming from that direction and the party was over there. So it was the smart thing to do at that time. I start running to the party, Bar decide to stay there, in the road, with the police officer. I will say it before because it's the most popular question people love to ask me. It was a security guard without weapon. So no guns, no pistol, no nothing. From stories that I heard, Bar take a gun from police officer that died. He fights till Hamas take him a hostage. For me, from that second, me and Bar just split up. For me, it was the last time they see Bob. From that second, I start to run into the party, get inside of the party, get into one car, get out, in another car. Send many locations to many friends. This location, and please, I need help. in our chat group of our friends, remember that they just sent me Din near to a location, many terrorists. You need to run away. After that, I'm hiding at the bar, get inside of the fridge, running, don't know where. The shooting starts to come from everywhere, and the biggest problem is we're hearing the shooting, but we don't know from where it's coming. After a few seconds of thinking what I need to do, I tell myself I need to do something, I need to run away. So I take with me a small group, maybe 10 people, 15 people, and trying to lead them with me, and just running into the woods, and we're running from bush to bush, we're running from hideout to hideout for almost 1 hour and a half. The last time we ran from bush to bush, unfortunately we see a terrorist. I don't know how much is in miles or feet, but 80 or 90 meters, so really close. Unfortunately, that second, the terrorists murdered most of my group, and most of my group just falling down one by after in 1 second. For me, I just look at myself, I see the people that just died, tell myself they didn't get hurt. So I take a left by myself, keep running, looking at the sides, and see them alone. By myself, keep running, and I see bullets landing on the ground over here, and just keep running. After a few minutes, I see 2 cactus bushes, one from the right and one from the left. I jump to the right one, and I've been there from 10:30 in the morning till 7 p.m. Almost 9 hours, the longest my 9 hours in my whole life. I'll explain what happened between the hours. So I jumped to the bush, send again location to many friends. What I heard is the screaming of Allah Akbar, the terrorists. If it's the music in Arabic from their cars, they probably I'll never forget my whole life. If it's the screaming of the Israeli civilians, people just begging in Hebrew, please don't kill me. And with all of that, I don't have what to do except be inside of the bush. In round one, I look right and I see shadow of terrorists behind me. After that, I feel myself and just make my last video, just crying inside of the bush. After that, in round two, I start to do goodbye message. If it's to my friends, if it's to my older brother, that at that time I've been in Canada, in Toronto, build his life. I just text him, I told him, Emil, I love you, I'm going to die. A terrorist behind me. And I did a voice message to my mom, and I told her, Mom, I love you. Thank you about everything you give me in my life, but I'm going to die. 2:24, my phone battery has died. I can tell you that every second after 2:24, for me it feels completely years by years. I realized after probably 20 or 30 minutes that 3 terrorists, one by after, coming inside of my bush, and they came from the right and just leave from the left. For me, honestly, it was the moment that I really accept my death. I realize inside, deep inside me, that I'm going to die. More than that, I just close my eyes, waiting for the moment they're going to kill me. But thank you, God, they didn't see me. Or maybe they see me, but they think I'm dead. I really don't know. But thank you, God, for that. The time is keeping running. I start to hallucinate from no water. I then drink probably from the morning. Every time I close my eyes, I just see terrorists in front of me. Hearing the screaming of them really close to me. The time is keeping running. Probably the hour, it's between 4 to 5. I remember the start to smell, really bad smell of smoke. And for me at the time, I just tell myself, didn't they find you and now they're going to burn you alive. I start to think of myself what I want to do, what I need to do. If it's to go and fight with them, or if it's to stay in the bush. One message of one of my best friends that he texts me in the morning, on 11, he told me, Din, please, stay in the bush, don't do stupid things, just stay inside of the bush. I don't know how to explain, but this message has been in my mind all of these hours. I tell myself, if the terrorists want to burn me alive, I really don't care. and stay in the bush. The times keep it moving is probably between 5 to 6, I don't know exactly. And I remember that I heard the calls of it's the police, but also with Arabic accent. And for me, that second I started thinking, how it's making sense. For me, the Arabic accent, it's really like that. Israeli, raised in Israel, did the army. So I started thinking for me, how it's making sense. All of these hours, the terrorists just walking, killing, shooting, RPG, everything. The land was shaking. And for 1 second, it's screaming of it's the police. So I think what to do, tell myself I will stay in the bush. And also until today, I don't know if it was the police or if it was the terrorists, but probably it's the terrorists. The time is almost probably 6 p.m. I realize that every minute it's more dark, more dark. I tell myself I need to do something. So I get up on my legs, but still in the bush. And I just start to wave into a helicopter, just waving and waving. And I just saw the helicopter just pass and pass many times. And for me, I just begging for God that the helicopter will see me, but he don't see me. Till the time probably 7 p.m. 7 p.m. and the time was dark. For me, it feels like it's the night right now. And I need to do something. I cannot wait anymore. So just a few seconds before I start running again in the open field, I just freeze with myself, pray Shema Yisrael, begging for help from God in that seconds, and just, I don't know, hope that time. I go out from the bush, looking at the side, I really don't know where to run. It's dark, for me it's night. I'm without the phone. I don't know where to go, it's still shooting around me. But I tell myself, I will take a left, just like that. I start running, I see bodies from the left. Keep running, I see more bodies over there. More dead people over there, and more dead people over there. I keep running, and I see many cars, they just completely explode. And for me, obviously, it's the terrorists. They just send me RPG. With all of that, I just keep running and keep running. After 30 or 40 minutes, I see lights from the car, really far away from me. At that time, I'm hiding again because I don't know if they're terrorists or if it's the IDF. After a few seconds, I tell myself I don't want to hide anymore. I start to screaming, help me, help me. I'm a security guard. And thank you, God. They scream back, it's the IDF, it's the IDF. I run into them. The last few seconds, I just telling myself, please, it's the soldiers. And it was really the soldiers, it was the commanders in the IDF. And they give me water. I charge my phone. I start to call my friends. I call the parents, tell everyone that I survived in my life. After the soldiers asked me if I see more survivors, and I told them that no, I'm hiding in a cactus by myself all of these hours. And then they asked me if I want to go back to the bush and search more survivors. And honestly, till today, I don't know why, but I told them, yes, let's go back. We go back to the bush, and for me, I just looking around and I just see a war zone. Many terrible things. I came closer to the bush. Fortunately, we don't find survivors. Not even one. But something I never forget that I'm coming closer, and what I see is the bush next to me, completely burned, on fire, and still on fire. For me, I looked at and telling myself, first of all, it was hallucinating, the smoke that I smell all these hours, and just another miracle in a miracle story, that the bush next to me was burned and not my bush. After they take me to the gas station in a wing, I come into the gas station, I saw many soldiers, forces, special forces, many. Then I tell myself, I'm survived. And then I got a call from Bar's brother. He called me with panic and asked me, where is my brother? Where is Val? And I tell him, Dvir, I don't know. I just get out from the woods. Talk with me. I don't know nothing. He ended the call. just end the call, and his younger brother sent me the video. He sent me a video that Hamas posted in October 7 that you see my best friend hostage inside a room, inside Gaza, with more hostages. And you can see my best friend, Bar Cooperstein, on the stomach, with a hand behind the back. And for me, first of all, it was my first panic attack with myself. I just started crying like I never cried. I even didn't realize with all the trauma of October 7, and my best friend is a hostage. Even didn't finish to cry, and again rockets in the sky, so you need to go and hide again, because you cannot be in a gas station, obviously. And still a hostage till today. After that, I came to the hospital. My parents waited for me. Something about my mom. My mom not kind of the woman that's doing sports or something like that. But the second that she saw me get out from the car, she just ran to me, hugged me like she never hugged, crying outside of the hospital. Say thank you to God that He saved my life, but also crying with my best friend that he's still a hostage. I got home really late. Wake up to October 8th, one of the worst days in my life, and I will explain. Wake up in the morning, watch all of the news, try to see all of the biggest picture of October 7th, with the kibbutzim, with everything. And that time, my older brother, he landed in Israel, he came from Toronto, ready for the war with his bag. For me, I just begged for him and told him, please, don't go. He told me I need to go. My brother been 4 months in Gaza, he fight, protect the family, protect the country. Here with me right now, go and support me. On October 8th, I got a call from one of my best friends in my team in the army, and he told me that we lose a friend. His name is Or Mizrahi, Zichrono Livracha. We call him Mizrahi. Mizrahi died on October 7. He was in base Kerem Shalom. He came attacked by the terrorists. He fighting with many terrorists. And he sacrificed his life to save the others. A little bit about Mizrahi. For his first name is Or. Like his name, Or, it's a light in Hebrew. Mizrahi was the light of the team. Mizrahi was the kind of the soldier that everyone just loved him. The kind of the soldier that will help you anytime, any moment, without asking back nothing. For me, Mizrahi teach me a lot in this life. He teach me in the army that everything in this world is for a reason. And for me, I just miss him a lot. After that call, it was another call that my personal commander, Eyal Klein, Zichrono Livracha. Klein also died on October 7. He fight in base Kerem Shalom in the south. He fight with many terrorists. And he sacrificed also his life to save the others. A little bit about Klein. By the way, he was a soldier of my brother. So my brother also know him really well. About Klein, Commander Klein. Klein was kind of the commander that for him, 99% it's not enough. 99.9 it's also not enough. Almost perfect, it's not enough. For Klein it's always 100%. For Klein it's always a perfect. And Klein teach me a lot in this life. And one of the goodest things that he teach me is to be first, to be a better person. And the second is to be a better soldier. And for me, I remember him all of my life. And this was my first days after October 7. Another call from a unit that died, or another friend of mine from the security that's a hostage. Unfortunately, I know more than just one. If it's Ron Barslavsky, if it's Eitan Mor, if it's Eliakim Livman, just a few weeks ago found his body. If it's Shlomi Ziv, that just a week ago rescued. If it's Andrei, that also a week ago rescued. So unfortunately, I know more than just one hostage. After a few days of October 7, I decided to go to the Israeli news to speak there first time about my story and about October 7. It was maybe 5 days after I finished the interview, and I just written with myself, really good one, telling myself this is what I need to do, and this is what I want to do. After that, I started to do many interviews, if it's to England, if it's to Greece, Australia, many, if it's the NBC twice, many. In November, I fly with a group of the families of the hostages, with 2 brothers of war. We fly to New York, we've been at Rabbi Lubavitch. After that, we're flying to Washington, if you remember, I've been there. Amazing support. After the group flies back to Israel, me and the brothers decide to stay another week in New York just to rest, without too much. And the family host us. The mom asked me, you want to come to the synagogue to go and speak about your story? For me, I tell her, yes, why not? This was my first speeches. Obviously, I didn't speak like right now. But when I finished these 2 or 3 speeches, I just told myself, okay, I need to stay. The brothers flying back to Israel. And I stayed 2 months in the state by myself, going from New York to Florida, New York. Met many amazing people, many amazing Jewish communities. Back in January to Israel. February flying again to California. Again, 2 months by myself, going from place to place. Come back 2 months ago in April to Israel. My brother released from his military, asking for help to come and support me. So he is with us right now. I want to finish the speech with 2 messages from me to all of you. First of all, I say thank you for all of you who came. The first message is about appreciated life. What does that mean to appreciate your life? So for me, obviously, my whole life there changed after October 7. And honestly, I start to appreciate every small thing in my day. And you know, for the people, all of the human beings, it really started to be usual to wake up in the morning. It started to usual to be with your wife, husband, kids. Fight with your husband, wife, or kids, right? And honestly, nothing of that is not usual. It's a huge gift to wake up in the morning. And I don't say that you not appreciate your life. I don't say that. But trust me, many people, many families right now in Israel, they're suffering. If it's the hostages family, if it's the families in the north of Israel, they probably right now they don't have a home to go. So trust me. Try to appreciate more your life. And the second thing, it's about faith and belief. About me and my faith and belief in God, it's relationship is just growing and growing. And I will say more than that. Right now you can see me with yarmulke. Sometimes I put yarmulke, sometimes I not, when I feel. Sometimes I put tzitzit, sometimes not, when I feel. But honestly, till last July, almost a year ago, I didn't even be close to be religious or something like that. I'd be more than that. I'll say, sorry Rabbi, cheeseburger and pizza pepperoni was kind of every week. So kosher thing or no kosher, I really don't care at that time. Something happened in July that I met a friend. His name is Owi. He became religious 3 years ago. And he every morning at the work, insurance company, he came to me and asked me, you want to come to Shacharit? You want to come to Mincha? Honestly, the first days I told him, Ori, leave me alone, I don't want. After a few days that he came to me and came and asked, I told him, let's go to Shacharit. After that, I started to go with him to Shacharit every day. After a few weeks with him, I started to keep the kosher thing. So Rabbi, since July, no cheeseburger, no pizza pepperoni anymore. And after a few weeks with Ori, I tell myself I need to take on me another thing. So I started to put tefillin every day, every morning. And it's just been 2 months before October 7. And then October 7 happened. with many questions with myself, many guilty questions with myself after October 7th. I can tell you, I have more faith and believe in God than I ever been my whole life. I trust God, I believe God, I feel God with me every day, in my day. All of these months in the States, it just was God that just sent me another amazing person and another amazing person. Many amazing people that just God sent to me and sent and sent. So I want to say, be with the faith, keep and believe. I'll say more than that. I spoke also at the churches, I always say, the faith and belief is not about if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, also if you're coming from India, really. The faith and the belief is something that human beings need to keep and moving forward with his life. And for me, the faith and belief is the best psychologist that I have, the best therapist that I have. For me, the faith give me to believe that everything is for a reason. And give me to see how from the bad things you need to see the good things. I will say it also about the Nova. Many opinions that I heard, why did they make the party so close to the Gaza border, right in the south? Many, why? But I can tell you about that. Thank you that it was so close to the Gaza border. I will explain. Every person that died on October 7th at the Nova, he saved hundreds, if not thousands, lives from the center in Israel, and I will explain. If not these hundreds of terrorists that come inside to the Nova and did the terrible things that they did, what will happen? I will tell you exactly what will happen. These hundreds of terrorists will drive into Israel. If it's to Ashkelon, Ashdod, Rishon LeZion, Bat Yam, Tel Aviv, Herzliya, and to the north. So you can see also the good things and the terrible things. And this just was example. So keep believe, keep it with the faith, keep praying about the hostages when you think if it's important, if you don't think it's important, and be good people. I can say more. Thank you very much, all of you. If you have a question to ask, you can ask everything. As we said before, but this happened to a lot. No politic, no Bibi, no Shmibi, no Ben Gvir and not Bennett, nothing of that. Just 22 years old from Cholon that survived the Nova. So you can ask everything, just please, no politic. That's it. If you have a questions.
I just want to say thank you for getting out and talking. I know it's a lot for you that went through this, and so thank you.
Thank you very much. You probably need time to say it too.
I'm kind of curious. I had always understood that in Israel, every adult had to join the army for so many years. I had heard that they kept their firearm when they got out of the army. And I understand that that's false. That's not the case. Most Israelis do not have firearms. Is that correct?
Someone can help me translate that. So, I'm released by Special Forces, and when I release, I just bring my weapon back to the army. Most of the units, most of the forces, they bring back the weapon, but people that release from the army, most of the soldiers, most of the forces, the Special Forces soldiers, what they're doing, they're going to the security guards, they're going to, many of them work with weapon. So they're doing a license to bear on them a weapon. And this is also the rule in Israel. It's not like Florida. You just can go buy yourself a weapon how much that you can.
Also in Vermont.
I don't know the rules yet. So in Israel you need to do a license, you need to carry your weapon only when you get the license, not before. For me, I released from the army, I just started to build my life, I started working in sales, so it was important to carry a weapon. And honestly, about weapon and guns, I say thank you to God that I didn't be armed at the Nova, because probably if I was with a weapon, I'd probably not stand here with you right now. I'd probably fight till the last bullet, and we won't stand here. So I say thank you for that to God.
Thank you.
I was surprised to hear that the party was between two kibbutzim. Could you say more about that? I lived on my cousin's kibbutz on my aunt's feet, and I just am in shock that they targeted the kibbutzim.
So next to Gaza border, a few miles I can say, we have the road they call 232, 232, and the road start, and you have kibbutz. Before Re'im, I don't really remember the kibbutzim, but you have Re'im, you keep running straight, and then you have kind of open field from the left, so it was the territory of the Nova party, and then you keep on moving straight, and you're coming to Be'eri. And also Be'eri getting attacked really bad, also Re'im getting attacked, and obviously the Nova really getting attacked. And what happened in the morning, that the beginning of the morning, the terrorists going to Be'eri, the terrorists going to Re'im, and then they coming from both of them. So they coming also from that direction, they coming from that direction. So when I, with the group, started running over there, inside of the woods, they waited for us. From that time, the terrorists coming from everywhere.
I was just wondering if you encountered any negative protests of your talks across the United States so far?
So, yeah, I've been in.
Question? Did everyone hear the question?
No.
No.
I was wondering if he has encountered any protests against his talks around the United States.
So I've been in New York, Florida, California, Washington also, but I go and speak at a place for Palestinian done waiting. But yeah, in New York I see many protests with their flags and everything. And California also I go to events with Eli Beer, United Atzala probably. So I've been there and I just see many pro-Palestinian outside of the event screaming, look at my face and tell me baby killer. For me, of course, I was mad, angry, but honestly after this many of months in the States, I just look at them, you know what I think? I think that they're just a bunch of stupid people that don't know nothing and don't understand nothing. And for me, honestly, I don't excited from stupid people. So to go with a flag and screaming free Palestine, free from what?
Exactly.
From the river, you know which river? You know which sea? Probably not. And every time they spoke with these pro-Palestinians, I spoke with many of them. I try to ask it every time. Are you read history book one time in your life? If you read history book one time in your life, they just look at me like stupid people and don't answer. For me, it's just another thing that I see, okay, they're stupid. And yeah, I don't excite from that. For me, more than just go and speak at the Jewish communities, I also spoke at the churches. But more than that, I want to go and speak with these pro-Palestinians, one against I don't know how many, but just talk, not screaming, not do all of this show that they love to do. And I say trying to change their mind, but honestly I don't know if I can, because like I said, they're really stupid. So I want that all of the world will see how much they're stupid. This is what I really want to do, to go and speak with them and educate. And probably, they will stay with their flags. But for me, it's just a joke to see what is going on in the campuses, the colleges. Like, for me, I come from Israel. 18 years old, I didn't go to parties in the college. I just go, the special forces, the country come to me, take a weapon, go protect your country. So from right now, I'm just 22 years old, I just see it and I say, your parents pay thousands of dollars in a year to go and study, and what you're doing with the flags. So it's sad, and I hope so that many of people like me will go and try to change their minds. And like I said, if not, I think that all of the world will see how much they really don't. Yeah.
I'm sure you know who Rudy Rockman is.
Right.
I've seen.
Can you speak louder so that they can hear on the other side of the room?
I asked him. I said, I'm sure you know who Rudy Rockman. I don't know how to say it. He's an Israeli, and he goes and he talks a lot at universities. And I watched a really long video of his, and he was having a really great conversation with an anti-Zionist Jew who did not know his own history, and it was really productive. And then all of a sudden, they all started banging drums, and then the Jewish kid kind of backed off and joined in the chanting, and it was just like snapped him out of it. And the only two people who actually had a productive conversation with him were two middle-aged Palestinian men, and it just showed, like, I don't know, it was just like those are the only two people who were actually they were arguing, but it was like it wasn't a nasty argument, but it was progress, it was talking, but the other people were just drums,
right.
Chants.
These were related. Only will show you.
Oh, sorry. I'm all done.
Yes.
It's not a question, maybe you
English.
אני שמחה שאתה עדיין פה, ותודה רבה שאתה פה היום.
Thank you very much.
Can you translate into English?
I said I'm happy that you're here with us, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Hey, did you go back to the Nova?
So the first time was in January when I fly back to Israel. I go the first time. I actually go with two brothers of Bar. We're going to the party there. We see everything. I take them with me the same running that I'm running October 7. And I take them to my bush, my cactus bush. Yeah, I go back to the cactus, really big. And the day after, I go and I make a speech there to a group of Americans. The next time was in April when I come back from the state again. And that time also make a speech. And for me, I will stay in the States right now probably till my best friend will come back home. If it's take a week, so a week. If it's take a month, so a month. If it's take a more, so more. But yeah, when he will coming back, I will coming back, and then we'll go another time to the Nova.
Amen.
Soon, as always.
Did this conflict change the dynamic within Israel between the Arab Muslims and the Arab Israelis and the Jewish Israelis? Did it change majorly the relationship?
My opinion that in the beginning, in the first probably month or two, I would say the month because after a month I fly to the state. Yeah, many Israelis, they feel like if it's with taxi driver, so many of Israelis they just cancel the drive because they don't want Arab driver. But I think it's changed. I think right now that the Arab Muslim, they like usual, it's like before. Obviously you have these Israelis with their opinion that all of the Arab is bad, all of the Arab is a terrorist. For me, it's not really right. I believe that you have good Muslims, good Arab, many of Arab Muslims that serve the country. So it depends how you think. And if you will think always that everyone are the bad, never will be a peace, right? And right now I think the situation is better between the Arab and the Jewish.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing your story. I came up from Amherst, Massachusetts. Has anybody here heard of Run for Their Lives? It's a 18-minute walk for the hostages. Does anybody do that around in this neighborhood? Okay, so every Sunday at 10 o'clock, about 40 people in Amherst, we just be together and walk around a track for 18 minutes. 18 is high, if you're not familiar. Because I feel so helpless. Like, what can we do from here? That walking together feels like something. So if anybody wants to know more, you can look on the website, Run for Their Lives. It's happening around the whole world. There's like 10,000 people walking all the time. And we make a little video reel, and it gets pieced together. So every week we see people in different countries all around that are just thinking of the hostages and being together with the prayer for them to come home.
Thank you very much for what you do.
Din, I'm curious, how is the experience for you going around and traveling and reliving this story over and over again? Is it traumatic or maybe even therapeutic?
So for me, since November, yes, I'm just going from state to state, go and speak. And with the interviews that I started in Israel to make, I realized this is what I need to do. In November, I started to do the speeches. I tell myself it's 100% my therapy. About the trauma and what is that trauma. Trauma is something that human beings don't ready for it. And PTSD, the post-trauma, it's something that comes in after trauma. And for me, when I was a soldier, we are heard many stories from PTSD, from wars in Israel. And after October 7, I tell myself, I don't want to be in that situation. I really want to do what I need to do. And to go and speak about your trauma, it's the best thing that you can do with your trauma. And for me, I know 100% it's my therapy. You know, and I will keep doing that as long as I can. But till the moment that the bar will come back home, the same second, put all of the speeches outside for a while, flying back like a crazy to Israel, hug him like I never hugged. And I want, if I start to speak about Bar, I want to say a few words about Bar. So his name Bar Kupperstein. He's 22 years old, from Holon, in Israel, where everyone will see.
What is his first name?
Bar.
Bar.
Bar. B-A-R. B-A-R. Bar. So this is Bar Kupperstein. Best friend and childhood friend. I know Bar since 7th grade. We studied together since 7 till 12th grades in the same class with all of the classes. So every time I get trouble in school, he was with me. And more than that, we finished the high school and we're going to the same units. You can see over here. Nachal. You can see. We're going to the same unit, in the same day, in the same room at the army. And after a few weeks we split up. Everyone to go to his, place. And for me, Bar always will be my hero. He was the one that told me to get inside of the party. and if not that, I probably will be hostage with him. About Bar, he's the oldest one. They have 5 siblings. Bar 22, Dvir is 20 years old, Oh 17 years old, Hila 14 years old, and Jonathan 6 years old. About the family suffering not just from October 7, they're suffering for almost 5 years. I will explain. First, everyone know the organization United Atzala with Eli Beard? Probably.
No.
It's an organization that in Israel, Eli Beard is American. They open organization that what they're doing that if someone have, I don't know, let's say accidents, and they need help, first help. So people come in with their motorcycle, or with the bikes, or with cars, or with everything. And they just give me the first help. And these people doing as a volunteer, without payment, without nothing. And his father, Tal, he wasn't a call, he volunteered at Atzala. And it wasn't a call to help a little kid that been through accident. On the way to the girl, a woman hit him really bad. She been at the phone the same time. She get into really hard way inside of his father. Tal been through many surgery. He almost died in the day. After 2 or 3 months, he been through with a stroke. And till today, disabled in a wheelchair. Cannot really walk. Cannot really speak. And I can tell you what happened from that day till October 7. Bar take his job to be a father. And I remember that, it was Friday, we've been in high school. Asking Bar what happened. He's like, my father almost died. He went through a motorcycle accident. At that time, his father opened a small falafel business family. I remember Bar and I were being, 17 years old. Bar take his business, was the manager, did everything by himself. For us as friends, we finish every day. We finish the school, we go into falafel, we go and help, we go and work completely free. Why? Because our brother needs us. So, since the day until October 7, he 100% was the father of the house. Also in the time when he was in the army, every weekend he go and work to help the family. And this is also the reason that me and him work at the Nova. If it's to help to my family, and Bar is to bring money for the family. And Bar is the kind of the friend I can tell you 100% will take his shirt off really easy, really fast, really quickly, and give it to me without asking nothing twice. And really, Bar is a hero, saved many lives, and soon as possible we will come back with all of the hostages. I believe 100% will come back really soon. And just waiting for that moment. If you have more questions, you can ask. Just please, like I said, I'm politic.
Din, I'm wondering, in your opinion, what can we do here to help? What's the best thing that American Jews and Friends of Israel can do?
So first, I will not get into about money and all of that because I never speak about it. But I think the best first is to go and speak about our stories, like mine right now. To go and share my story with your friends, and imagine yourself if you say to 3-4 people, and you are here, 50-60 person. So it's more 200-300 people that know a little bit more. And more than I can say, go and stand with this flag over there, Israeli flag. Go and stand with these posters and just scream every time. Bring them home. be our voice, because we are in Israel. We are fighting our war, that it's with the hands, with the body, with the weapon, with everything. But with that you have also your war. It's here with anti-Semitic. So I know it's something that can be hard and difficult to go with your daily star, right? Because, I don't know, afraid of something. But please don't do that. Please, this will be outside, always and always. And be our voice. Go and stand for us, because we cannot do that here. So it's your job.
Just want to also say thank you for your uplifting message of faith. And I have a couple of questions. How does the intel, how do they know where the hostages are? And
I don't have an answer for that.
okay, and the other question is, you say you've been to churches, so I'm wondering, that's really great. Like, do they invite you, or which kind of churches, or how does that happen?
So I met many amazing people in California, Florida, New York, over here in Massachusetts also. Not in Massachusetts actually. Right? Vermont. Okay, I just came from Massachusetts. I drive like 3 hours, so I don't know exactly where I'm at, but yeah, I met many amazing people. And in California, just asked me, I know that you speak and going around, you want to speak also at the church. So the first time I'm thinking like, I don't know, yes, no, it's no, but I tell myself, of course I will go. And the experience was amazing. The people were amazing. And for me, it doesn't matter if you're Christian, Jewish, Christian, nothing of that. It's about humanity. And for me, all of the world needs to know if it's what happened to me, or what happened in Israel on October 7th. And it's not about who you are, it's about, like I said, humanity. And my opinion that everyone and every person in this world needs to know. So I will keep on going, also with the Jewish, and also with the non-Jewish Christians, and also that will soon with the Muslim and with Palestinian. And honestly, probably a week ago, I've been in Toronto, and I spoke with a Muslim. I spoke with him for almost 25 or 30 minutes. Just speak with him. And every question that he asked, I just answered it. Every time I just was in shock. And you know something I never forget after this talk with him? I can tell you it was so sad. It's the sad thing, it's about what I see into his eyes. And what I see, it's the hate that he has. I really see inside of his eyes, and just what I see is the hate. How much he hates me right now. If it's how the way that I answer to him, if it's how the way that I look, I really don't know. Every time I try to ask something, I will not answer to him, but every time I answer to him, the amazing way that I can answer. And for me, it just showed to me that, like I said before, they're stupid. You know, they don't know nothing, and they need to know. The Muslim, not the Muslim, everyone needs to know.
I think this will be the last question. We want to be respectful of your time, Din.
אני גם רוצה להגיד תודה שבאת. Thank you. I think there's no one in the world who wouldn't agree, bring them home now. I mean, this is the message, bring them home, bring home Baal and bring home everyone else. And I don't know if you have an answer for this question, but I don't think you could get anyone to argue about this. We all want them home. The question is, how? And I don't know if you have an opinion and if it's too political, but like, is it going to be a deal, or you think it's just going to be like we just got back 4 people by like flying in and picking them out? I mean, I don't think there's any argument over wanting them home, but how?
So honestly, I don't really have an answer, but I will tell you my opinion. How? So, like you said, first it always be with a deal. But honestly, it's Hamas. It's not human beings. It's not people that you can go and try to make with them a deal, because they only and only terrorists. And I wish and I hope and waiting for the stress that the states or all of the world will put on Sinwar and all of the Hamas, and then maybe will be a deal. But I more believe and I more trust my army, trust my IDF. I've been a soldier. I trust and believe that the army can bring them home. I know it's really complicated with the tunnels, with the war. People don't understand how much is really complicated to fight inside of Gaza. Many buildings, many neighborhoods, many crazy things. With all of that, I just keep and believe that the army will be doing the best and waiting for that miracle that happened a week ago. The rescue 4 hostages. 2 of them, Shlomi Ziv and Andrea, I know really good from the Nova. And Almog was in the same video with Bar the first day. So I hope so that he also will say something to intelligence that maybe he will know something new about Bar. So keep and believe, keep and wait. Every day, every minute, every second. Keep and believe.
Thank you so much, Din. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for coming here to share. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to the American Legion for hosting. I think we have a few more minutes. If people want to stay and mingle, thanks again. For anyone that would like to help us with our mission, there are donation jars by the food table. And also for anyone who would like to, just by the entrance. And for anybody who would like to be a part of our group, Vermont Friends of Israel, you can just write your name. There's a piece of paper. Thanks so much.
It's always hard to
You saw yeah, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.